Hello, beautiful people. My name is Stephanie.
My name is James.
Welcome to our channel where we share with you our Christian life and experiences. So today we are going to discuss about the saint of the day. And our saint today is Saint Gregory Thaumaturgus. I don't know how we pronounce it, but yeah, Saint Gregory, he was the bishop of Neocesarea, and he was born in 213 and was a pagan. Originally his name was Theodore. He became a Christian and a bishop, and he was known for his preaching and the miracles that he worked by his hand. I don't know, Jemo,
Yeah.
what are you known for? Like Saint Gregory, I can imagine someone who's known for the miracles that they perform with their hands, not their mouths, but their deeds. Basically, that's what I'm understanding from this. The things that he did with his hands. Like, what are the examples of miracles you think that are done by their hands?
It's a very interesting question. I'm not very sure what they mean exactly what is a miracle done by hands, but I think just the fact that miracles happened while he was, in his ministry, whatever he was doing. Yeah. What I'm known for, I think the best way to approach that would be like Jesus.
Wait, before you approach that, the name he was given was a wonder worker.
Wonder worker.
Yeah. Probably it's probably something is broken and they'd fix it, and people wouldn't have expected such a thing to be fixed. So inakuwa miracle.
And I don't know. I don't think so. But I don't know. Like every miracle is a wonder, for anything to be qualified to a miracle, it means that haiwezi kuwa explained scientifically, inadefy the laws of science, inadefy the physics, inadefy hizo vitu zote, and then it qualifies to be a miracle, whatever it is. So unless we study a little more and see exactly the kind of miracles that he performed, but I think that is generally what it means. Just that he worked many miracles, yeah, and I don't know what I'm known for. I think I know what I'm good. I know what I'm at least good at. Okay, probably a little singing, and preaching, but then sidhani kama nimefika hapo mahali pa kuwa ati wonder worker. But I think the best approach would be, if you really want to know what people say they are, would be to ask, like Jesus did his disciples, and who do people say I am? And then you hear it firsthand. Then you really know what people think you are, and that will give you a clear picture of what you are known for, and not what you think you are known for.
I think there's this group we belong to, and I saw someone had called you, like someone had texted and said, "Hey, Jemo the worshipper." So probably people know you for being a worshipper. These things that they always keep joking, and when people see you, they see a very holy guy. And I think by the time I even nicknamed you Jolly Gabriel, you remember? People know you as people's standards. The kind of standards people have kept for you are up there. So people know you as a good church boy.
What are you known?
Me, what I'm known for, I think, with what I hear people say, it sounds so discouraging, but I'm known to I am known to have a bad heart. Like people know me like someone who has a bad heart. Like probably when they see me, they see someone who's, and okay, this is from my experience with people who have told me, and some that I've heard say that, hey, Steph, I Rombaya, Kali, and all those things. People who are really haven't encountered me, or probably who have encountered me and have encountered the bad side of me, probably when I was on the edgy side. Definitely, people know me as a singer. Yeah, I think people basically just know me as a singer, as a church girl. Some know me as a jangili. It depends where we met when. Yeah, but at the end of the day, people know me as a musician and as a teacher of music. Yeah, and yeah, they just associate me with anything that revolves around Christianity. Yeah. People know me as their neighbor. As
I think different people would have different experiences, with you. Like back then, when I used to have a drug problem, there are many people that I'm gonna associate now at those times that I don't anymore, and not because we were son or anything. We just grew, apart, and that is the image they have of me.
Jemo
the drunk, and the drug, paid.
They paid.
So when you ask them, Jemo Inani, that is all
Jemo?
they remember, and they will tell you this is the Jemo we know. Come believe.
Baby, when we met, I don't think the drug had come out of. You remember that ministry we went to, the Youth After God's Own Heart. That was the first time I think I met you, and you.
Niko high on something.
Like, but is a drug. What is a drug? Ziko zimeisha kwa mwili, kwa macho. Like, and
really?
like, yeah, like umetoka far. Because at that time, you looked so tight because you were too light. And then ulikuwa na, what is it called? Macho zako zilikuwa zimenyanyanya kiasi. So even when you were speaking about you being a drug addict, some of us could relate because of your appearance at that time. Until you started to like minister to us and all that, then you realize, okay, this guy, he has really transformed, But probably if you were just a guara you were just an attendee of the ministry, like I was, most of us would have mistaken you for someone, for a paid,
Yeah,
but
I agree. I totally agree. I didn't know it was that obvious, but by the time to meet na John ilikuwa nimeng'ang'ana kukanyaga to milestones hivi, but because I had a drug for a long while, it could take a toll on me, on my psyche, on my physique. It was showing. It was all over the place. I was very rough around the edges. Nimereform sana. Mgenioni umekatiza hivi imeisha.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so come a long way. Yeah, so I think different people work on different experiences of us along our journeys in life. Mtu amecommit labda time ulikuwa in a bad place, and they don't know that you're not that person anymore.
Yeah.
Or you strive to make changes and all that, and so they hold on to that.
Yes.
But it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I think ni sawa tu as tukiendelea to grow, in the faith and in character and in life generally. Watu wanakuwa na different experience altogether with you. The most important thing na kukumbuka, to stay discouraged, is that the word of God says that the Holy Spirit works in us day in and out to conform us to the image of God, of Jesus Christ. And it also says that he who began this good work
in us
is faithful to bring it to completion. And so tunabadilika siku baada ya siku. We are not born perfect. Tuko na struggles, tuko na character flaws and all that, but God is not shaken by that. He loves us anyway, and he helps us purifies our characters pole. Tutafika hapo.
I know.
Tutafika hapo.
I think probably for me, what I am, St. Gregory, definitely there must be a lot that he has done and rather that he did for Christians. At that time, you can imagine a pagan, change and transform.
Yeah.
Like you were once a pagan and you transformed into a baptized. Do you imagine you could be baptized? Like
Never,
you of all people, do you
never
imagine,
in
like,
my life.
you know? And for me, I think that's also a miracle in itself. You know?
The greatest miracle ever is conversion. Kuonyesha mtu sio physical healing na sio nini, although they're great and they're wonderful things, but the greatest miracle of them all me ni the salvation of, you know, a conversion of someone's heart. Mtu amwongoke Mungu. There's nothing greater than that. Yeah, and I think it's very common. Ni kama times za Paul na akiwa soul bado, you know. Alikuwa everything bad. The guy was a murderer, he was crazy. And the people who knew Saul while he was still Saul, even after his conversion, had a problem, you know, accepting him.
Accepting his conversion story.
Yes, as one of them. They feared
because
him.
they knew what kind of craziness he did. To massacre the Christians.
Yeah. And it's the story of every Christian. Nobody is born perfect, but God will meet you somewhere, and then He turns your life around, and, you know, gives you a whole new story.
Do you think, as a Christian, like, for people to see that you're a Christian, there must be miracles that happen in your life, like for people to believe that this guy is a Christian, or are miracles the gauge of Christianity?
No, definitely not. Because even the devil works miracles. So then kwa chaya na kamiujiza kama tuenzi Moses. Yeah, the Bible says you shall know them by their fruits. So the standard is not the works.
The works.
Not the works, if I say. It's not the standard is not the miracles. The standard is the fruit of the Spirit. It's a character that is proven. That's why I'm saying the greatest miracle is the conversion of the heart, and the character in your conformed to Christ. That is the real witness of, you know, transformation and Christian living. It's not about healing of the sick. I don't know what because even the devil does that. But then, of course, God's miracles are greater, but the standard is not miracles.
It's not miracle.
And you see, Jesus once said that you people, siku itafika na mtakuwa mnakisema hapo, tulifukuza mapepo jina lako, tuliponya wagonjwa kwa jina lako, na nitasema ondokeni hapa, I did not know you. Why? Because I was sick, you didn't come to see me. Yeah, I was naked, you didn't clothe me. I was hungry, you didn't feed me. Yes. And all that boils down to the fruit of the Spirit, and not necessarily the gifts. So the gifts are there to idea to evangelize, to edify the church. But what really proves us as authentic Christians is the fruit of the Spirit. You shall know them by their fruits. Yeah.
You know, this thing of you shall know them by their fruits. Christians of today, I feel like fruits are also getting to a place where it has to be the fruits of people's standards. You know, like if you don't bear this type of fruit, then you're not Christian enough. If you don't bear, I do not know how to put whatever I have in mind into words really, but do you get what I mean? Like, for example, and sometimes works are mistaken for gifts. For example, nowadays how Christians are, like, if miracles don't happen, if you don't speak in tongues, if you don't prophesy, then you are not. Those are not. To them, those are fruits that need to have fruits of your labor as a Christian. You get, like, laboring under, like what people say, well, like you have to go to a secret room, like secret place, and seriously pray. So the fruits that come out of the secret place is a prophecy, is a working miracles, you know. But those are not fruits.
No, those are still gifts.
You know,
they're still gifts. They're good.
So people know you for being a miracle worker, like
and it's in a tragic comedy. You know, if you'd be not for miracles and not for character that has been
proven
yes
over time.
Yes. Yeah. Gifts can take you places, but it is the character that, you know, helps you to stay there. Yeah. Or not. If you have a good character, you will stay. If not, you put it there. At the end of the day, that is the most important thing. And as Christians, I think we're keen not to be carried away by the gifts unakuwa starstruck, you know, unastuka hivi, and do you know why and it will be a problem. It will be a problem. Na watu wengi siku hizi wanakimbilia mahali watu wana work miracles and gifts where they think watapata, but no one wants to suffer diligently. Just love Christ through their suffering, trusting. They want instant miracles and instant solutions to their problems.
And believe you know, there are some miracles that are like, there are some miracles that aren't instant. It requires for the miracle seeker to work towards the miracle.
Yeah. So, and that is why the Antichrist, the Bible says, akikuja atajidisguise as an angel of light, na atakuwa na great wonders. And because people love wonders and they don't care about character, watapotelelea. And the word says even some of the elite will get lost. Why? Because we didn't focus on what was most important. Tuna focusing on you know, hype and all that isn't that isn't it. Yeah. So ni kuavoid kuwa careful how do I put this?
Not fall.
Yeah.
Pray.
Just focus on what is most important.
Yeah.
Remember that what is most important is the conversion of the heart. Whether there is physical healing or not. Whether there is I don't know what kind of miracle or not, that is besides the point. And watu waliprove this, si kuprove per se, but people that we can tunaweza gia mfano wao. Kuna wako wengi saints who suffered greatly. Wako wengi, him, hata tukiangalia disciples, the way they died, you know, ungesema basi kwa sababu they had the ability to work such great miracles. Paul kwa nini alikufa kifo cha aibu na hiyo, kufungwa jela angejitoa aende akate kichwa hivi, unajua vitu kama hivyo. But then nilipenda sana Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, when they were forced to bow down to the foreign gods. Na akasema sisi Mungu wetu akona uwezo wa kutuokoa, lakini hata asipo tuokoa, he's still God, and we still want to bow down to your gods. You know, and I think that is the real witness of the faith. When you know that God is God, whether he does what you think he should do or not. Because the idea here is not to conform God to our image or to have him conform to our will, but to have ourselves conform to his. Yeah.
Exactly. For me, let me ask you a last question. I know this is supposed to be a dialogue, but I'm learning a lot from your explanations. It's just a thought that is just coming in my mind. So let me ask the question. Now, do you think it matters what people think about us as Christians?
Yeah. Trick question, but I think it does. In all honesty, yeah. In this sense, if we are called to be witnesses, then we are called to live our lives in the open for everybody to see as a model. As models of faith. Unfortunately, for a Christian, there's no hidden life. You know, there's no. Hakuwezi kuwa na story ya preaching water and drinking wine. Yeah, if we do that, people question our character, they question our faith, they question our God. Now that is not to say that we won't have imperfections or struggles here and there, because we are all journeying. You know, but we can't be, you know, we can't be when Paul says don't conform to the image of this world, then there has to be a clear difference between someone who proclaims Christ as their Lord, who proclaims, you know, Christian faith, and someone who doesn't. You know, the evidence is in the life we live. It's not in the, you know, speaking. It's not just lip service. It's in life. So it really doesn't matter what people think. And although sasa kuna wale watu wenye wanakuwa sasa ni malice tu, and you cannot, there's nothing you can do about malicious people. Yeah, the most important thing is to live a life that is worthy before God. But inaweza kuwa double advantage like Jesus while he was still a boy. Wanasema from the story when he was in the temple, that he grew up in wisdom and all that, and he had favor before God and before men, and that is the standard, and truly a true Christian utampendeza Mungu, na wale watu wenye hautapendeza ni watu malicious, because when you truly love God and you're living for God, then you're doing right by God and by people. You're not hurting them, you're helping them, you're praying for them, you're speaking the truth, you're not, all that. People would love to see that, because there are very few genuine people nowadays, and so people who have a genuine heart will be drawn to that. But just evil, malicious people will not like that, just the same way they didn't like Jesus. So you don't expect at the same time also everybody to love you.
Yeah, I also think on top of that, I don't know if this would be like crazy of me to say, you can correct me. I also think Christians of today need to also lower their standards with each other. By lowering their standards, I don't mean they should dehumanize them, or like for example, let me take a good example of the two of us. For me, it's like you're Angel Gabriel, and it's like I am an ambassador of Lucifer, like because of how people view you get, and sometimes how people view you plays a lot with your psyche, and determines how, sometimes depending on where you are at in your spiritual life and in life generally, it also probably affects how you live life as a Christian. It might affect you positively or negatively. Now, building up from where you've left, I feel, now listen, this is me, this is not how it is wired, but I feel like sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves as Christians. We don't allow ourselves, we don't give ourselves room to make mistakes. We don't give ourselves room to be human. Just be human, because you are human first, then divine. And it just makes me feel like as Christians, there are things and levels we want to take ourselves to, but the Lord hasn't even allowed us to be there, simply because you can't understand the simplicity that comes with being human. So remember, there's this time in my life, even till now, I'm going through that, yes. But there's a time you find people have already laid the standard for you. Everyone wants you to be in a certain place. Like for example, when you go and sing, there's a way you will sing. That person who feels like they are way above you, yani spiritually wako huko juu. When you sing, yani it's nothing, I touch, forgetting that is at that place. Get it, you are there. There's no way you are going to go to the fourth heaven or the third heaven when you are still on earth. You get. So the standards for you, that is where you are supposed to be. They already have a standard for you. Forgetting there's a journey you're journeying with yourself and with God. So these standards are also ridiculous, in all honesty. There are some standards Christians are putting that are ridiculous, as long as the standards are for Christ. And you and with your Christ, you walk together for the purpose of your salvation and just living life towards gaining righteousness, attaining righteousness. So I feel like partly my image as a Christian to other people, 90% it matters. That other 10, it should not matter to you. I should be allowed to make those mistakes. I should be allowed even to just make silly mistakes. I'm a child of God. There's no condemnation. But the kind of condemnation we get from fellow community members,
A community member, a fellow Christian, a Christian who condemns a fellow Christian has a character flaw. They have a problem themselves.
So if the standard is Christ,
Exactly. The standard is Christ.
then don't
the standard is not
bring
you. The standard-
your usd and where you are at in my space.
The standard is not you, the standard is not me. Okay. That's why when I, for example, yes, mtu amekuhold with some regard.
Lower standard. That is when
you know,
lower tu standard yake kidogo.
But kama definition yao ya Ukristo iko ina revolve around maisha yangu, ile siku weakness yangu na definitely itotokea because I'm not Christ, I'm not perfect. Then their faith itakuwa wataingia crisis. Ama kuwa scandalized, na that one will not be helpful. That's the thing, and I think that is what Jesus was saying, that don't judge and you will not be judged. He was giving very simple ways to live the Christian life. Munaona sana vibanzi ndani ya macho ya watu wengine, but uoni boriti. Unajua boriti? Hata was boriti. Log in your eyes, but you see the small tiny specks in other people's. Most times a person who only sees the negatives in other people is a negative person themselves. And I think, and the one thing that I also pray Mungu anijalie mimi kama mimi is to have a heart and a mind like his, where unaweza kuangalia ubaya wa mtu and you love them
for who they are.
Yeah, of course you love them for who they are. The thing with God, and now that is now another dangerous statement to make. God loves us for who we are, the way, if anything, He has created us the way we are, for who we are as a people, with our personalities and all that, and He accepts us the way we are, but He does not leave us the way we are. Okay, so that I think should be the attitude when you come across someone who is struggling with whatever. You understand. Understand. After all, kwani wewe ni Mungu. Watu usahau mali Mungu amewatoa. Unasahau na wewe ulikuwa tu a drug. Sasa mimi kama sasa nipatane na mtu ana struggle na bangi, na nianze kumuita wewe mvuta bangi nini, nisahau mali Mungu amenitoa. Mali Mungu amenitoa mimi. Na mimi nilikuwa tu mlevi hata probably kumshinda yeye. You see, that will be very it's nupuzi, and that is majorly what people do. Ama kuangalia mimi unaona kama ubaya wangu ni mdogo, na vyangu ni mdogo, huyu anafanya kubwa. Na unakosa kurealize kwamba pia wewe uko na issue zako. Who said you're perfect anyway? And the real thing about Christianity is living and let live and let live. You struggle. Mali unaweza kusaidia mtu, saidia. But don't be that person to point fingers. Ultimately, God is our judge. And understanding also that watu wako na journeys tofauti. There are people who would move very quickly, others would be very slow. It doesn't matter. Yesu alikufa na Yesu kwa msalaba, alidepend hiyo kwa msalaba and he went to heaven. Wewe unajuaje God akona agenda gani na huyo mtu? Our duty as Christians is not to point fingers or to throw blame, but to love. You love someone through their struggles. If they come out of it, you've won. But if we make them feel like they're not loved, like all that is not what God does. And the kind of guilt, even, and I think we'll find another day to talk about this, the kind of guilt, for example, it's like godly sorrow that Mungu kupatia kashifu maybe because of a character flaw. It's not the kind of guilt that will make you run away from Him. No.
It draws you closer.
It draws you even closer to Him. You fall ever deeper in love with Him because you realize, man, God is so good and I'm so bad. I really need Him. Si kama hiyo tu yenye mtu anafanya usikie kama sasa Mungu anaja na wewe hata ufai kwa ufalme wa Mungu.
I also feel like with that in mind, we should not lower our expectations as human beings, but rather I think what we should lower is not the standards. We should not lower the standards, but lower our expectations
yeah.
with human beings. Because you do not know. Hata wewe mwenyewe hujijui, you don't know what you can give out there, you don't know what you can dish, and you might lower yourself, kumbe